Welcome to the Title I annual meeting. What is Title I? Title I is a national program funded through the federal government. All elementary schools in Lancaster provide Title I services. As a school-wide Title I school, we are able to receive additional training, resources, and staffing. Title I is a comprehensive strategy designed to ensure that all students demonstrate proficient and advanced levels of achievement with state academic achievement standards. Title I is funded based on the percentage of free and reduced lunches. You can apply online through the Lancaster City Schools website. In the spring, families will get a survey about Title I to help provide your opinion about how these dollars are being used. Title I at Mount Pleasant has staff working with students in kindergarten through 5th grade. The main focus is on reading, but other subject help is provided. This is done through small groups, during RTI, small-scale groups as needed, one-on-one help, and helping teachers in the classroom. Let's meet our Title I staff. We have Mrs. Bender and Mrs. Gunderson, Mrs. McBroom, Mr. Smith, and Mrs. Stafford. Data plays a huge role in Title I. Data drives our instruction and decision-making. We wanted to take a moment to discuss the state report card data with you from the 2022-2023 school year, especially since it looks different this year. This is the first year that districts and schools will receive overall ratings in half-star increments on the report card instead of a letter grade. The State Education Department has said that an overall rating of at least 3 stars means a district or school has met state standards. The Ohio School Report Cards provide information on 5 rated categories: achievement, graduation, progress, early literacy, and gap closing. Each component is rated on a scale of 1 to 5 stars. There are some scenarios, though, in which a category may not get a rating, such as an elementary school will not have graduation information. Let's take a look at how Mount Pleasant did. Overall, Mount Pleasant received a score of 3.5 stars, which meets state standards. The first section is achievement. This component represents whether student performance on state tests met established thresholds and how well students performed on tests overall. In the area of achievement, Mount Pleasant received 3 stars. This meets the state requirement in academic achievement. In the area of progress, which looks closely at the growth all students are making based on their past performance, Mount Pleasant received a score of 3, which means that the school met student growth expectations. In the area of gap closing, which is a measure of the reduction in educational gaps for student subgroups, Mount Pleasant received 3 stars, which meets state standards. There is no graduation ranking because that is not data looked at the elementary level. In early literacy, which is a measure of reading improvement and proficiency for students in kindergarten through 3rd grade, Mount Pleasant received 3 stars, again meeting state standards for literacy in grades K through 3. These report cards are designed to give parents, communities, educators, and policymakers information about the performance of districts and schools, to celebrate achievement and success and identify areas for improvement. As part of Title I, we have to develop a school-wide plan. This includes items such as a needs assessment, school data, evidence-based strategies, highly qualified professional staff, ongoing professional development, strategies to attract highly qualified teachers, parent involvement, transitions, assessments, assistance provided to low-performing students, and the coordination of programs. One of the biggest parts of the school-wide plan is the needs assessment. This is completed annually and comes from the parent survey and staff survey at the end of the previous year. It helps determine our focus for the next school year. Last year, we moved back to a paper survey and we received more feedback from parents than the year before. Our needs assessment results come from our parent and family survey. Areas identified as having the highest need at Mount Pleasant are reading in grades K through 2 and reading grades 3 through 5. Areas identified as having high needs is math grades K through 2 and writing grades 3 through 5. The next part of the school-wide plan deals with evidence-based strategies. This includes all-day, everyday kindergarten, special education inclusion services, a K through 5 literacy plan, a math plan, evidence-based curriculums, RTI, which is response to intervention practices, and MTSS, multi-tiered systems of supports. The next part of the school-wide plan is highly qualified professional staff. This means having highly qualified teachers who have licensure or certification through the state to teach the grades and subjects they are teaching. It also includes having an interview process for the building and district to hire highly qualified staff and retain them. As part of the school-wide plan for ongoing professional development, teachers are receiving training in the LETRS curriculum. We have a building literacy coach, a resident educator program, tuition reimbursement, Leader in Me training, and in-district professional development days. The next part of the school-wide plan is parent involvement. As part of parent involvement, we create a written parent policy. This includes having an annual Title I meeting, having a homeschool compact or partnership, which we'll talk about in a little bit, open house, parent-teacher conferences, and encouraging families to come to PTO meetings, family nights, visit our MPES support site or Facebook page, reading our Title I newsletters, reading our PBIS newsletters, and also the coordination and integration with other programs such as Head Start, Help Me Grow, kindergarten, preschool, and junior high transitions, and also knowing about the parents' right to know. The homeschool partnership is completed at all Lancaster City Schools elementary schools. It is completed and discussed at parent-teacher conferences. Parents, teachers, students, and principals will be asked to sign, signifying their commitment to working in partnership to ensure that each child is successful in school. Preschool transitions are the next part of the school-wide plan. This includes having pre-K parent-teacher conferences, kindergarten and pre-K meetings in the spring, and staggered start for kindergarten. Assessments is the next part of the school-wide plan. The assessments we do in elementary are Acadience in grades K through 5, which are several short tests given to children in order to screen and monitor their progress in English language arts. They also do state testing in grades 3 through 5. Third grade does ELA in the fall and spring, and math in the spring, and fourth and fifth grade do testing in the spring. There are also assessments that go with our curriculum and quarterlies. Some things we do to provide assistance provided to low-performing students is all-day, everyday kindergarten, public preschool, the RTI model, and small group instruction. The last part is the coordination of programs. This is our community partnerships, such as Big Brothers, Big Sisters, counseling, mentorship programs, outside educational programs, and Head Start and Help Me Grow. One of the things we hear a lot as Title I teachers is the question, how can I help my child at home? So we'd like to show you a brief video about how you can raise a reader.
Hi, my name is Linda Fassel, and I am the head of the lower school at Dwight School, Dubai. For more educational videos, please subscribe. If you have any thoughts or suggestions, please leave them below. Thank you. To talk to you today about raising a reader and the importance of the home environment. And what a lot of parents will ask us in the education field is, what can we do? First of all, a lot of people don't realize that oral language and literacy starts in the home, and it's all about the quality and quantity of talking you do with your child. What do I mean by that? First of all, in the 1990s, a seminal piece of work came out, and it talked all about how the number of words that families spoke in the home directly impacted the trajectory and the predictors for literacy success in school. And this piece of work, it was by Hart and Risley, and it became world famous, and a lot of educators subscribe to this research and this notion that the more you talk, the better off your child will be in starting reading readiness skills in school. And what we've learned from recent research, particularly by Meredith Rowe out of Harvard, is that students and children need to have rich, quality conversations. So it's not necessarily the abundance of words that you use in the home, but the conversation quality. And what do I mean by that? I mean the back and forth conversational turns. A conversational turn is when you say something and a child responds. You ask a question and a child responds. It's really important for children to feel validated, and when they're curious, to have someone say, well, tell me more, or to talk about experiences. You can ask about past experience that children have had, but you can also talk about something that's coming up and something that's important and related to their lives. These conversational turns have a direct impact on vocabulary and oral language development. And what does that mean from a practical point of view? When students get into the classroom, if they've had lots of quality give and take conversations, they have this natural ability to access literacy skills. So those are my suggestions. Make sure that you take turns, that you really tune in to your child and what your child is saying, and that you talk more quality conversations. Thank you.
We want to thank you so much for coming to the Title I meeting today. Make sure to take the time to use the QR code on the agenda to sign in and give us feedback or ask any questions. If you're having trouble with the QR code or don't have a device, please feel free to stop by the Title I table to do a paper survey. Thank you so much.